So the first thing is to smack your clay onto the bat. Next, we're going to center our clay. One of the most important steps. You're going to brace your right arm against your thigh so that you have support. You're going to push in on the clay. You're going to test it. You're going to keep your hands wet. Whenever you feel your hands dragging, that means your clay is not wet enough. You're going to need to get some more water on your hands. Now, as you get better with centering, you'll be able to feel it from just putting your hands lightly on the outside to see if they wobble. Once we've got that, it's time to open up our pot. I like to do this with my two thumbs together and pushing down in the center. Now, once again, as my hand starts to feel the clay kind of pulling on my fingers, that means it's time to add more moisture. And as you can see, I'm reaching into my bucket, getting more water on my hands, putting some water inside my clay. Once I think I've got it deep enough, I'm then going to pull a tool that I can stick in the bottom. I call this the needle tool. Stick it in the bottom to see how thick it is. I want it less than an inch, probably half an inch thick, just so that when I go to trim it, I have enough space that I don't put a hole in my pot. If I need to go a little bit more, I'm going to do that before I start pulling the pot out and pulling it up. I'm going to test it one more time to see if it's how thick my clay is on the base. Looks like I've got about half an inch, so it looks like I'm ready to move on to the next step. All right, from here, I can pull it out, and I usually do that with bracing my hand on the outside. Right now I'm cleaning up around the outside. I'm going to pull out to make the base of my pot wider. As you can see, I've got my hand on the outside, my left hand on the outside, my right hand on the inside, and I'm just pulling the inner wall out. Trying to get it as wide as I would like for this one. My wheel's going just about as fast as it was when I was centering, which was full speed. Now it's still going full speed. Once I start to pull up, that's when I'm going to slow down my wheel. Now that I feel I've got my pot wide enough, I'm going to start pulling my pot up and making it taller. To do this, I do put my left hand on the inside as a brace, but I do not push on there. I'm actually starting from the very bottom, and as you can see right here, I'm using a sponge to keep it wet, and I'm pushing up from the bottom and pulling all the way up. Each time I'm making sure my lip is smooth by running my hand just along the top edge to keep that smooth and even. As you can see the clay from the bottom slowly coming up to the top. And I'm going to do this till I get to my desired height. This is going to take a few times. You'll get used to it. You might get a little wobbly. As you can see, as it gets thinner, you can start sculpting it, making different looks. I'm going to make this one into a vase. Checking my lip, which is the very top, pulling up a little bit more. Okay, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this shape. I'm going to trim the bottom. Now I do this with taking the angle wooden tool, and I'm going to go at about a 45-degree angle in on the bottom of the pot. Now this is a little bit more advanced technique. I'm going in again, but now I'm making a little plate that's attached to my pot there. I'm going to smooth everything out. I'm doing this in fast forward so that the video doesn't take too long. At the end, you saw me pull the wire through, and there you have your pot.